And I'm back. And I'm back to cause some trouble. All right. Did I go live on the right account? Yes, I did. OMG. So we were talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. So I wanted to get off of my computer because I can't invite people this way. So I wanted to come back here and let's see if we can bring Noelle up. I don't know how this works, Noelle. So once a Noelle comes on here, I will bring her up. Because I got questions. Look, I've got questions. We were on Jazz's live too. Oh yeah, I was watching Jasmine's live earlier. Oh, there we go. View request. Okay, requested. Did it not work? Accept. There we go. Oh, come on now. Oh, there we go.
Hey, hey.
How are you?
I'm
Hold
doing
on. Can you
good. I had to hurry up and throw my wig back on.
Me too.
Okay, you know, a little something. Let's turn a little light on. Okay. How are you?
I'm fantastic. First of all, I don't know if you saw my thumbnail for today's Summer House Martha's Vineyard recap.
Mm-hmm.
I put the MVP sticker on you. Most
Really?
valuable
Thank
player.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate that because, child, like, people have asked me, like, how do you feel with being a fan favorite? And I don't like to say that I'm a fan favorite just because, you know, 1 minute you could be good, the next minute, you know, be down. So I don't want to get too comfortable,
You could
but
be
I do appreciate
Preston.
it. I definitely do appreciate, yeah,
You could.
it's quick, you know, but I do appreciate the love. I do appreciate the love. I really do.
First of all, how did you even get connected to the show?
Yeah, so actually I got connected through the show from Summer. So at the time she was dating my roommate. I told my roommate that I was like, you know, I love the show, thought it was a good thing. He was like, oh, well, my friend's on the show. Whenever she's in town, I would love for you to meet her. So I want to say probably like 3 weeks after that, she ended up coming into town. We met, we talked, and actually that was the night too that she was like, hey, I don't know if you're ever interested in reality, but there's just, you know, our show, they're still looking for people. And I think that you'll be a great fit. Like, you just being you, I think it would be great for you to come on. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. And so then the auditions happened and it went from there.
How was the audition process? Was it grueling?
I would say it wasn't grueling, but it was just a lot of time in between. At one point, I was just like, I don't know if I got the call back or not. I didn't even know if I made it. And even then, I would say it was like a good 3 or 4 round, but it was very conversational. Like, even the questions that they asked, like they'll ask me, do I, you know, see any of the cast members out and about? Which I told them, like, yeah, I saw this person out and about. I never spoke to them, but I do think this person is. Well, I would see. I saw Alex, Nick, and I didn't see Jasmine at Fort Greene, but I heard that she was at Fort Greene. But then when I saw Nick and Alex, I was like, okay, both are attractive. I was like, okay, Alex is attractive in person, like. And if I was to be on the show, I'd be like, okay, especially with him being the only single guy.
Yeah.
Let's admit. I was just like, okay, like, he's decent. Like, okay, that's cute. It's cute. And I'm not going to lie. But yeah.
Okay. So you and Summer were never really like tight.
No. And honestly, the first time I met her, which even she talked about, you know, with me being on the show, that was the first time we met. And then the next time we hung out was literally the day before the vineyard. So at that time we only hung out twice. And I know that, you know, people talk about like even bringing up the friends thing, but you know, TV, you can't say like, oh, I don't know this person. You can't call this person an acquaintance. So it's like, yeah, like, you know, I do accept I do take accountability for even stuff where I went wrong, because it's like, even though me and this person aren't that close, I was interested in forming and seeing where something could go.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people get caught up in thinking, oh no, they've been friends. You know, the way they make it appear on television
Yeah.
is that you guys are tight.
Yeah.
She brought you onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
And I
not the
didn't want to
case.
feel, and I didn't want to be wrong, especially with this being my first time, you know, like downplaying and saying, no, this is not my friend, which is like, because it's like at the end of the day, I'm going to always be grateful for her for introducing me with this opportunity. That's something I will never take away from her, whether we can be cordial or not. she she never had to tell me about it. So the fact that she did that, I'm gonna always be thankful for that. But it just sucks that things don't always turn out as planned. Yeah.
Oh, we'll get there. Who was the most welcoming of the group, and who was the least welcoming of the group?
Oh shit, sorry, I almost fell. I would say the most welcoming of the group, honestly, I would say Bria. I feel like when we first, like, let me say this, everybody was welcoming. I would give it that. However, like when me and Bria first like linked, we gave each other like a bear hug or something, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like, girl, you very much giving off cousin vibes. But everybody was cool. I would say nobody was really standoffish. I would say I felt like everybody was kind of more so open to themselves. I know it felt like Shanice, I thought initially meeting her she was gonna be like rah, 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 rah. She was very calm, so I feel like at first I was like, oh my gosh, like you're calmer than what I expected. But then we started to party and get drinks, and I realized she's the type of person where she has to warm up to you. But other than that, things were good. But yeah, nobody gave me the cold shoulder, which I was happy about, because I know
it felt like it didn't feel like you didn't know these folks and this was your first time with them. It felt like you really got along with everyone.
yeah, which I'm thankful for. Like, despite the arguments we had, it was something where I very felt like I fit in with the group.
Okay. So would you come back for another season?
I would.
Okay.
I would. And I very much want to bring in no serious conversations, just all fun, twerking, bouncing that ass. Let's party, party, party.
Have you suggested anyone for the show?
I actually have. I actually suggested some of my friends that live here in New York, that are interested in moving to New York, because I'm like, hey, I think that we just need more of a diverse, fun vibe where it's just like, if at this point, everybody bring in a friend, and let's see where we can go from there. Because I didn't realize how much of a difference it made when you do bring in outside people. So, like, for example, the 3-day weekend that we had, and we had all the guests, it really created a different vibe. Like, we were having fun, but the additional people did make it feel more like, wow, let's do this again. Let's bring some more people. Come on.
Even Natalie?
Let me tell you this. She was not, to me, the microaggressions that were shown, I didn't see that up front. And even like how she approached me, I know other people had their own run-ins with her just because of things that happened at the premiere party last year. But for me, she was very cool. She was nice. And honestly, she was aware of a lot of the tea. So I thought it was something where it's like, oh, you're in the know. Whether you're talking to other girls, whether you're a boyfriend, you're kind of like hit with this. And it gave off the fact that I'm cool with talking to you all, but I'm not going to go try to be messy. Like, yeah, we all gossip, but I'm not going to try to go create something more than what it is. So I'm just thinking like, okay, yeah, you're cool. We have fun. We take shots. You're giving off cool energy.
So how did you feel after watching it back versus filming with her?
I was honestly upset. I was actually upset in the moment because, a lot of things also were cut out. But it was honestly upsetting just because I get it. I take full responsibility of gossiping about Nick, with that whole situation. However, we doubled down on our stance of not saying anything to Tasia because we knew it wasn't our place. Also, I saw what happened to Tasia last year. So, I don't want to be that person because I know how it feels when somebody comes to you as a woman. I don't want to be that person to do that. It wasn't my place where I felt like, he did anything inappropriate to me. I might not agree with it, say if that was my boyfriend, but I didn't think that it was something, first of all, that we should tell her on national television, that in the end, it's still like, even if they break up, stay together, it's embarrassing. So I'm like, let's not do this. And if you're going to go say that, let that be on your own. Like, do not include us. Because she said that, which I thought was interesting, she actually gave examples of things that she saw Nick do that she didn't agree with, and how she said if that was a mirror, I wouldn't want him to do this. And so we're like, oh, like, wow, we didn't see all of this. Like, we might have heard certain things, but we didn't know that you knew more to the context of, because mind you, she just got here 2 days ago. So we're like, oh, you know a lot about what happened in the house. You know stuff about from Decades Night. You know stuff about us going to the party, you know, randomly with the Vineyard people. Like, how do you know this? But me being wrong, I'm thinking like, oh, well, she's just in the know. Which is gossiping. Nothing of it, instead of it actually playing out to where, I don't know, it kind of felt like her and Amir conspired to tell Tasia something and watch us take the blame for it, knowing that our intentions were never that, and that you added on harsh allegations that, like, it's one thing to say a man is being flirty, but groping, handsy, sexual harassment, like, that is damaging. And I would be damned if I'm trying to do that, you know, to anybody, especially on national television. No.
Here's the thing. When she said to you guys that I'm going to go to Tasia with this, what did you guys say to her?
We told her no. And everybody went around the group. Bria, she doubled down on why she doesn't think she should say anything. Because she was like, last year I was the one to say something. And, you know, it didn't come across well. I looked messy. I'm not doing this again. Shanice was like, yeah, I don't agree. I said, I don't agree either. She was like, but you said stuff about, you know, with the hand thing. And I said, I know I might have said that, but I was giving an example. I don't think you should speak on behalf of me and my experience and tell Tasia that I feel this way, because I don't. I don't. I might not agree with it, but I don't think he was doing anything malicious. And she was like, well, I saw stuff that I don't like, and because Tasia's my friend, we've hung out. If that was me, I would want y'all to tell me. And I said, okay, but first of all, that's not you. Second of all, it's different. And even then, I hate to say this, but I don't know if I would go out my way to tell you something so messy. I'm sorry. Like, unless it's something where it's hard on cheating allegations, but even, and I have proof. A picture, my picture, I don't think that's enough to really go and tell somebody's, you know, significant other, hey, your boyfriend took a picture with me like this. I don't agree. I think he's doing something. No. And even then, we didn't even know that Jordan and Summer already had their conversation with Nick. We just thought it was like, oh yeah, you know, Nick is kind of flirty. Yeah. Who doesn't, you know, we joke around like that. It's nothing serious, but, you know.
So you guys already, so you guys told her you wanted no involvement in it. So you knew, but you knew that she was still going to go to Tasia with it.
No, I didn't know that she was going to Tasia with it until we were at the table at, I think, the Sandbar place where we went after biking, and I saw her get up and walk over there to Tasia. And I'm like, I know she's not saying something to Tasia. So when she comes back, I was like, what did you say to Tasia? She was like, I didn't say anything. I said, what did you say to Tasia, Natalie? Because you went and said something to her. She was like, well, I told her I wanted to talk, but she told me that she couldn't talk right now because she's getting ready to go, and that if it's something about Nick, she doesn't want to hear about it. I said, okay, so you're not going to say anything to her because we told you not to say something to her, and if you are, don't include us. She was like, yes, that's it. Like, I tried, it didn't work, I'm done with it. So to see everything play out where, first of all, she still never said anything to Tasia, but how it was told to us in the kitchen, it was told to us that Tasia knows Natalie told her this. You all are telling, accusing Nick of doing this, and basically, you know, they're on the verge of breaking up, and yeah, like, y'all are basically trying to defame this man off of things that y'all said when there's no proof, because you know, nobody saw it happen to y'all. We're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Do you think, oh, well, in your experience, because we do know sometimes producers behind the scenes will push, you know, push people to, like, you know, ask this question. Do you think that happened, or did you witness that happen with Natalie? Or do you think Natalie did this all on her own?
I think Natalie did have help from her significant other. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be for real. I mean, let's be for real, because there were things where I'm just like, you couldn't have known that unless somebody talked to you in the house. And the closest person to her in the house was Amir. Like, where they talked on the phone, they text. To your question about, I think, what you talked about in the kitchen, I confronted Natalie. I don't know, you know, don't know why it might have not been shown, just because whatever, but I did let her know, like, say what you said, like, tell him what you told No, tell us what you told him, and then repeat to us what you said you were not going to say.
Yeah.
And at that moment, it was like mute. She started crying, and at that point, I was like, I'm done with this because I'm sorry. I'm like,
She
with this being my
started
first season, I'm
crying?
not trying to. Yeah, I'm like, I already see that. I hope that it's not trying to shift this narrative that Noelle's coming down, and she's yelling, and she's attacking this person, and she's crying. So after that, I honestly checked out because I'm like, I'm telling her to speak up. She's not speaking up. People are saying, you know, why are you yelling at her? And I'm like, no, I'm mad because I know what I said. I admit that I was talking shit. However, I was not accusing him of what you told him in Tasia. Yeah. So why are you trying to act oblivious and be quiet like you didn't have no hand in it? Like, if I'm going to raise my hand to being involved, you got to raise your hand for carrying the ball. Am I wrong? Nope. Because if the bond was never carried, let's be for real. There might have been telephone like, oh, Noelle and Bria, Shanice were gossiping. But it, in my opinion, I honestly don't believe it would have went to the extent that it did. Yeah. And I hate that that happened.
Yeah, because and you probably felt the backlash from the fans because they all were like, "What are you guys doing here?" You're all saying that he didn't make you uncomfortable, he didn't touch you. It just felt like a reach and unnecessary, especially for someone that has a lot to lose, especially on a national television show.
Hello.
And we saw what Natalie was doing behind the scenes as viewers. You guys, of course, in it didn't see all of that till afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move away from Natalie because I don't imagine that Natalie or her significant other will be returning next season.
You know, we're just gonna sit. We're gonna sip a little juice.
I do want to ask you about your relationship with Alex because a lot of people came down on you at the top of the season when you went back to your room and you got really emotional and crying. You say, "I want to call my mama." About the whole Alex rejecting you situation. Like, can you just kind of give us context in regards to what you were feeling in that moment?
Yeah. So actually, I know I hate that it looks like I was crying over Alex rejecting me, but I really wasn't crying over Alex in that whole situation. I was honestly crying that I was embarrassed. So they didn't show, which I'm happy. But after I said what I said to Jasmine and Shanice in the bathroom, I was walking out and one of the local patrons actually pushed me. And so I was like, did this bitch just push me? Mind you, we're mic'd. There's a camera around. So I'm like, I turn around and I ask the woman, like, did you just push me? She says, yes. So basically, me and a woman almost got into an altercation. And in that moment, you're on national television. It's your first season. You're going to be on 10. Because at this point, I was going off. I'm not going to lie. I was cursing. When I'm angry, I'm hot. I can't lie. And so I was in a place where I was like, damn, I basically almost got into a fight on camera with somebody who's a local because she pushed me. Then I already knew that, okay, I was talking to Jasmine and Shanice in the bathroom. I was, you know, venting, you know, drunkly venting about how I felt because I'm not going to lie, with the whole thing of giving Alex the sandwich, I thought that I was doing a kind gesture. So when he didn't say thank you, I'm not going to lie. I was like, damn, like you go do something nice for somebody. They kind of, you know, brush it off as if it's nothing. Instead of confronting him saying, hey, I thought that you know, I thought it was wrong that you didn't say thank you for the sandwich. I internalized that. So I was gossiping with Jasmine and Shanice about, hey, is it bad that I feel some way that, you know, Alex is like acting type of this, like, or is it bad that I feel some type of way that, you know, based off of what happened earlier, it's kind of like he just brushed off the situation, and I feel like I did something nice. Mind you, we're drunk at that. So because of that conversation, and let's be for real, in this house, telephone is a very popular name. I assume, I put on my producer hat, I'm not gonna lie, I assumed that because I had the conversation with Jasmine and Shanice in the bathroom, when we walked outside, the camera people were right there. I knew in my head, like, oh, this conversation is going to get back to Alex. And I would rather tell Alex what I said about him versus him hearing like, Noelle was crying over you in the bathroom. Noelle was almost fought a drunk person over you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell him. So when we're outside, mind you, that's after the altercation happened. they're like, yo, Alex is going to come up and say something. So I'm like, oh shit, you know, I almost got into a fight. I'm drunk as hell. Let me fix my hair and makeup. Alex comes down. He's like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, well, yeah, this is how I feel. And this is what I said. And what you know how you think you can say something and it would sound one way.
Yeah.
But then when it comes out, you're like, oh no, bitch, you're just drunk venting and this sounds crazy. So wrap it up. And so after that night concluded, sorry to give you so much tea.
No.
But after that night concluded and I got back to the house, I called my mom. I talk to my mom every day. So at this point, I haven't talked to my mom for like damn near like 6 or 5 days, which is unheard of because me and my mom, that's my girl, that's my best friend. So at that time, I was giving her a rundown of everything that happened. And when I was talking about I was embarrassed, I was really embarrassed about the fight, like the potential fight, because I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, I don't know if they're going to show this. Like, I'm in a sorority. I don't want to look like I'm fighting with the locals, even though I wasn't the aggressor. And then I'm like, I'm over here drunk saying stuff to a guy that I thought that, you know, oh, if I just catch myself by saying this, it will come across better. When honestly, I was moving too fast. Instead of thinking that, oh, what you were saying is possibly going to get back to him and covering myself, I should never say anything. And I get it, but I do accept my my lashings of thinking that I can try to produce some shit just because I don't want it to get back to the person before I say something, you know? And so that's what honestly the whole embarrassment thing was. It was the fact that I almost got into an altercation. I'm over here drunk venting to a guy, and it's like I know I'm gonna wake up and be like, what the fuck did I say? You might like the guy, but like, girl, it's not that serious. And so, you know, waking up the next day, you're asking people like, hey, what all happened? Oh, you talked to Alex and you told him how much you like him and you confessed your feelings. You're like,
you didn't remember?
I didn't remember all of it. I knew that I told him that, hey, I like you and I'm single and I'm acting single, and I knew I fucked up when I said that comment. So after that, I personally blacked out. I was just like, this is just terrible. Just try to delete it. So then when, you know, the other castmates would say, yeah, girl, you're out there, you know, kind of confessing how you feel. And, you know, some people say, yeah, girl, you was professing your love for him. I'm like, damn, like, I don't remember it all to this certain point. So when I saw it for the actual episode, I'm like, I knew it was going to be cringe.
But well, here's the thing. In all honesty, if all of our moments in life were filmed, a lot of people could relate to what you've gone through, where they've sort of gone headfirst into, oh my God, I'm attracted to this person. I really have feelings. I've seen it. I've been at the other end of it. So but it's true, and I hate the fact that because you're so vulnerable on reality television, I don't want you to go into your next season having that guard up without being vulnerable again. Because there are a lot of people that won't admit it, that won't go on social media and admit that I've done that before too.
Yes.
I've been there before too. So don't allow social media or people's comments to change who you really are and what you really felt in that moment.
I appreciate
You know?
that. Yeah, I definitely. So it was a learning lesson.
So after that, did everything between you and Alex just sort of like fizzle away? Where
Yeah, it was it. After that, I just felt like I overextended myself. Honestly, I feel like I showed my hand, and even then, like I wasn't even logically thinking of like, okay, the stance between me and Summer and how Noelle. I knew I wasn't going to do anything with him. I knew I wasn't going to hook up with him. Like flirting, yes, but even seeing how much flirting can get you in trouble, I was like, when drinking comes involved, I'm just going to dead it. So after that, like, it was strictly just like, hey, bye, you know, we still will be cordial because let's be for real, we're not going to like not speak. But as far as like, you know, the flirtiness, it was like, no.
whatever happened with the guy that came over that, you know, Alex started kind of looking at you guys and you guys were flirting. He was a cute guy too.
Oh yes,
What happened?
Hendrix. Yes, no,
Yes.
he's cool. It was, yeah, it was kind of just like a one night thing, I would say. Yeah, it was just kind of like the party thing, and that was it.
Did you guys kiss?
No, we just shared the cupcake, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because even like after that, yeah, like it was very cute and PG.
Oh.
Very cute and PG. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look. Well, I
You like,
hope for
yeah,
next season. I hope for next season it can get a little bit more PG,
spicy.
more than PG, a little more spicy.
I definitely
Um,
hope so.
but since we're talking about the Alex of it
Mm-hmm.
all, we have to talk about Summer because this love triangle that was created during the season. What exactly? Because at the reunion, I think a lot of people were confused at the timeline of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not understand her when she says, we were talking? Like, can you just really just clear that up for once and for
Yes.
all?
Okay. So, excuse me. So prior to going into the vineyard, I was always open to Summer about my interest of if there's a single guy, it's going to be Alex. Hey, where do y'all stand? She always told me that, because I was like, girl, I watched the show. She always told me that it was just a TV thing. They were flirting first season. They hung out, but nothing more happened, and that basically her and Alex relationship is similar to that of her and Amir, that they're just castmates. And listen, mind you, I know, because listen, also too, she's talking to my roommate. I'm not thinking
Wait, when you
like
say talking to, you mean sleeping with each other?
dating. Very much.
Oh,
They
dating.
yes, they were bi-coastal dating. Let's just be for real. Let's just be for real. So I'm thinking like she's being honest. Like, I know people are like, but you didn't listen. When a friend tells me they're hanging out with somebody, my terminology, my Merriam-Webster dictionary, I'm thinking is strictly platonic. Because if I'm saying I'm hanging out with my brother, if I'm saying I'm hanging out with my friends, my girlfriends, I'm just thinking that.
Did she refer to Alex as her brother?
No, she didn't
Oh.
refer to Alex as a brother, but she referred to their friendship as just like as a castmate thing. And how you know, like when she goes to New York, he goes to LA. I asked like, what is the nature of that? Is he the first person you contact? And vice versa. She said no. She says very much he has his own things going on in LA. I have my own things going on in New York. So when we're there for that. And if we so happen be like, oh, I'm free for drinks and catching up, we can hang out for that. And I assume that, I hate that it really is as naive as it is, but I'm not thinking that there's more to this situation, because I told her, I said, listen, going into this show, whatever you do, please don't have me walking into a situation blindly. And I doubled down on the fact, I said, let me know for real, did you and Alex sleep together? And she said no. She said they just hung out. And so I'm thinking of it
So you
just
asked
as that.
her point blank, period.
Yes, because even like I would tell her, I would always update her about my interview process with the show. I'm like, yeah, girl, they asked about this. You know, they asked like, hey, if you know you and Alex were like to hit it off, and you know, I told her like, I don't want this to be rude. Like, I don't want this to be weird, because I would hate for a guy to ever try to come between us, even though, you know, me and you are starting something new. But hey, like, out of everybody on the show, I am interested in this person. But please let me know what y'all have going on, because I promise you, like, me and you might be new, but I'm not gonna backdoor you for no man. I'm not. And she told me I have nothing to worry about, that they were just strictly castmates, and that even at one time he tried to hit on her, but it didn't go nowhere. Listen, I know. And I'm just thinking of it as that. Because listen, me knowing reality, I know how people can flirt first season. Stuff happens off season where, you know, they realize that they don't want to work things out. They're not compatible. Coming to second season, and it's just strictly friends.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm thinking of it just as that. Like, and I'm like, why would she lie to me? Like, she ain't gonna have me coming on here looking crazy. Like, if I'm gonna embarrass myself, it's gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna be. I just didn't think that, listen, I didn't think that I was going to be walking into what everybody else was aware of in the house, but I wasn't.
So everyone else knew that they had slept together.
Yes.
So why do you think she did that to you?
I don't know. And to be honest, I'm going to say this. I honestly think that the reason she did not say something initially is because she was with my roommate. And me and my roommate are close. Like me and my like we're friends, like very much strictly platonic. And I think because, and mind you, I don't know the personal timeline between her and Alex, so I definitely don't know that. However, I'm just thinking like, oh well, you know, if she's dealing with my roommate, she's not gonna tell me that she's also dealing with somebody else on the show, because even though she's just meeting me, and yes, I might be coming on to show as her friend, she doesn't know me all the way, so she might think my loyalty is to my roommate over her.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking like, okay, yeah, this is like some information really to hide that's spiteful. And then when I got there, you know, what you don't see are the side conversations, people talking, people looking at you crazy, like, girl, dang, like, you show Alex you were flirting. I wonder how so-and-so feels. And I'm like, why you say that? And they're like, oh, nothing.
And
Like, you
you're
know,
at this point not
yes,
realizing.
I'm not recognizing. So I'm like, oh, like, are you saying that because like last season type stuff? They're like, yeah, you know, because last season, out of everybody in the house, he flirted with her the most. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can understand how that can be weird, but we talked about it. Like, it's not like that, and we're good. And they're like, oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's totally fine.
So wait, before I forget to even ask this question, have you? I mean, clearly you've spoken to your roommate about what played out during the season. What did he have to say about this?
Who?
Were they still talking?
No, I think they're cordial as well.
That's cordial word.
I know, and I hate how basic it sounds. I feel like, for example, at the premiere party, they said hey and bye to each other.
He was there?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. At the premiere party, they did say hey and bye, but there was also some tension. You know, I don't want to put too much on their business, but
everyone's saying bring the roommate next season.
Yeah, they very much
only if summer comes.
Yeah, they very much spoke to each other. So, you know, I'm thinking that things are decent. I don't know if they're as close as they used to be. I would say that. I think that, you know, both of them have now probably gone into different directions, but I don't think it's hate on their part from each other.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you said, and I've heard from, people have been in my comment section saying that you've said in other interviews, there's a lot more, because I've been very much confused as to the energy that you've given towards Summer, towards the end of the season when people were texting you, Summer's leaving, do you want to say goodbye? And you text back, no. And then at the reunion, it felt very contentious. What exactly happened that caused this sort of tension? I mean, besides the obvious very much lie that you just told us about.
So what I feel like caused the tension probably were little things leading up to Freaknik. So after the conversation happened where you saw us at the hot tub, where it's me, Summer, Bria, Jordan, me and Summer have our own conversation. And when me and her, where you saw that we're joking around, we actually discussed some real things where we cleared the air. I told her, I said, girl, I ain't gonna lie, I admit that I was wrong for pursuing Alex and flirting with him. And even though, you weren't upfront with me at the beginning, you eventually told me, but I do take accountability because that does look crazy. And, I know that, let's be for real, and outside of this vineyard, you will call us acquaintances, not friends. So by me doing that, despite friends, acquaintances, it was still messed up as hell. So I apologize for how that made you feel, because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to step on your toes or anything, or even go behind your sloppy seconds, with that whole situation. And that I fucked up. I shouldn't have never entertained something. And I thought that the air was clear.
Why?
Because let's be for real, Kemp. Like, we're all in the same house. And even though I did not kiss him, hug him, touch him, it was strictly flirting. You see how it played out. And it's still, even with my own actions that happened at the bar, it still insinuated that, I was getting thirsty, that it was like I was chasing him. And I would say that the flirtation was mutual between both of us. Yeah. But with being under the same roof, knowing the history, because of, what we ended up talking about, where we match timelines, because that was a big thing with us where we bumped heads, is that when we would get in public, she would say one thing about a timeline and I would say the other thing about a timeline. And I'm not gonna lie, I get defensive when people would lie about details of certain things, because I'm like, no, because that changes up how things could actually be played out. When it's like, I would take full accountability, but you doubled down on telling me certain things that were not true, and I was wrong for continuing that. But as I sympathize with you, sympathize with me in this moment too. Like, let's both be like, you was wrong, but I can understand why you did that. I can understand why you did that. Now let's move on. Sorry, I know I gave a little deeper spill, but so at this point, I'm thinking that the air was cleared. So leading up to Freaknik, when we'll be in group discussions, someone would start to say things that, in my opinion, it sounded snappy. It sounded shady, and it would be stuff where you make eye contact, like, you know, with certain people, like, was that shade towards me? But then when I asked about it, she would say it was nothing. Girl, I'm just playing. Girl, I ain't got no problem with you. Not, you know, even a little sloppy seconds comment. You say that once, I'm gonna let you eat that. I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna let you have that, because that's my karma. But if you continue to try to stunt and flex when it's like, you know, we talked about this. I thought that we were past. I apologize. You apologize. Why are you still making it out to be some like type of underlying competition, when I'm like, that's not the case? And even with Ben, I thought that we were actually kind of getting closer, because we ended up having our own conversation where we shared stuff privately about what we're going through. So even I remember I asked her, what is something I can do for you, despite how we started, despite how rocky this situation, friendship, relationship, you want to call it, what can I do for you that you'll be like, okay, she's doing her best? And she told me to support her, because she told me that she was going through a lot with family stuff, and how with being in the house, a lot can go on. A lot of people can think about themselves in the moment. So if you can just support me when I'm going through it, that's fine. And that's what I thought that I was doing at all times. However, Kemp, I kind of felt like it was playing on me, that I'm showing up for her, I'm supporting her in conversations, but yet when, you know, we're drinking, you know, we're at the table, the cameras are out, you might say snarky comments. And I'm like, what's that about? And she said it was nothing, or girl, I'm just playing. I love you. I love you. That's why I said, when people say I love you on the show, it feels like they're saying fuck you. Because I'm like, you're not going to keep playing in my face. And then when your friends are like, girl, why she so snappy with you? And you check her, then it's like, oh, Noelle, you're doing too much. Like, it wasn't even like that. And I'm like, you can't keep playing on me. But besides just the snappiness, she started to say things around the house, like saying that, you know, I still think it was weird that she did this. And I'm thinking like, girl, I thought we already moved on. And if I'm asking you, what is it that you still think I'm doing? Why aren't you telling me this to my face? And so when, you know, we would address it, it would just be like, okay, that's just not going to happen. But my thing is that it's only so long where you're only going to keep apologizing for things, but keep doing the same thing. And that's where I felt like she not really messing with me. Because even when the whole thing happened with Freaknik, they didn't show, but when she had threw the box off the side table and she went upstairs, we went in her room, and even then she went off on me. She cursed at me, cursed me out, and security had to be called again, to where she was saying stuff where she was just like, you know, I don't F with you, I don't F with this, I'm done, I'm not your friend, like, fuck this, like, go be with Bria and them. And it's funny how you think you coming in here, you the favorite, like everybody's fucking with you, they don't fuck with me. And I'm like, first of all,
did anyone else clock this behavior? And did you confide in anyone else?
They did. However, one thing I realized in the house, a lot of people kind of have this type of mannerism of, if it's not concerning me, if my name ain't in it, because think about it. If somebody keeps, listen, we're drinking every day. If somebody goes out every day, cursing somebody out every day, then saying I apologize next morning, acting like nothing happened, and you do it the next day, two things. You're going to say, okay, this is how this person acts when you're drunk, or you're going to like, this person is not sorry, and this is really how they are. So when, you know, that behavior will be happening, at the time, everybody didn't know that her, Preston, and Jordan had their own side things. I was aware of it, so I was also giving her grace. Like, if you're at odds with your two friends, I'm your newest friend. We started off rocky. Let me still try to be there for you regardless of what you got going on, because if you don't feel like your friends are there, I don't want you to feel like, girl, I'm not being there either, even though we've had our rocky start. Yeah. And so when, you know, the situation happened with Freaknik, I'm thinking that realistically, two of your friends who you know, are your best friends, they're not here. I'm trying to support you. You tell me to be here for you. I know that now looking back, I should have respected the boundaries, but I'm not gonna lie, Kim. In my eyes, if a friend's telling me to support her, and of course she's lashing out, mind you, we're all drunk, I'm gonna think that she still wants me to be there for her, despite, you know, yeah, she's pushing me away. Yeah, she doesn't want to talk. She at least wants me to be there so that she can vent. And so I'm thinking that if I at least do that, then that's going to help the situation. But
yeah, because you worked my nerve. I was like, no, I was talking to the television. I was like, Noelle, leave her alone. You're not going to have any sort of sensible conversation right now.
I know. It sucks, but listen, Kim, I just thought that you girls, listen, because Bria was telling me how she felt about Summer. Summer was confiding in me how she felt about Bria.
What did Bria say?
I'm too drunk to be, what you say?
What did Bria say?
Bria felt like that Summer was being fake towards her because there were certain events going on that she felt like she was constantly being left out the loop with, similar to Jasmine with the Jamaica trip. There were certain things that Bria was like, well, y'all are leaving me out of things, and every time I bring it up, y'all brush me off and say, y'all didn't invite me, so actually I do feel away, and I never spoke to you, but every time I do speak to you, there is a weird animosity, and when I'm trying to tell you of how I feel, we're drinking, everybody's arguing, other people are joining into the conversation. Bria, I remember she told me that I feel like I didn't really tell her how I really felt prior to the vacation with the not being invited to the same events.
Okay. So Bria was also feeling alienated by the trifecta group.
Exactly. And she already had her own conversations with Jordan, with Shanice. So that was handled, but she never had her conversation with Summer. So when you see them bickering at the Freaknik pool thing, it was one of those things where it's like, y'all both clearly feel some type of way. And I know I'm drunk as hell, but maybe if I try to be Dr. Phil and sit y'all both down where you say how you feel, she say how she feel, and we're all drunk, we're not going to hide it. We're just going to tell each other how we feel, and then we're going to really get to moving. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but in my head, I promise you, it sounded amazing. It sounded amazing.
Drunk thought.
But I was wrong.
So and that happens before Freaknik. What happens between then and now in regards to you and Summer?
Yeah, so as you see where Summer ends up leaving, there were house meetings. There were conversations that went on where Summer started to say that I didn't push her and that I provoked her. And so I got completely, at that point, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I'm done with this. It is what it is. I can be cordial with her, but I'm going to show up as a cast member when we have to do things, but I'm not trying to explore anything more because they have you on camera pushing me. I was wrong. I should have respected your boundaries, but why are you lying and saying I was the aggressor? Also, too, why are you trying to say that nothing happened? And then when I'm trying to validate my opinion, especially when I bring in examples of the whole Mariah situation, then y'all telling me I can't say that. Then y'all telling me, well, and people spoke on Summer's character towards them in the house and said that she's never showed that type of she's never displayed that type of action towards them. So because she's never did that towards them, then because that's happening to me, my sentiments are less than. And I honestly got mad because I'm like, listen, I know that it's good to protect people, but we have to hold people's feet to the fire. And I'm gonna admit to where I did wrong, but I can't allow her to keep crying and saying that she didn't mean to do it, then double down on her stance of that she did it, then the next morning say, oh, I didn't do it. Noelle was actually the aggressor. She pushed me, when it's like, we were on camera. Like, we literally had to break fourth wall at one point because they were like,
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So there were house meetings that we did not see on camera.
Yes.
Is that what led to Summer leaving?
Yes. Well, I would say this because I want to speak to Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was the vote on based off of her actions. How did she make you feel in the house, and speak on that. And I voted my case, and I said, listen, if this person is doing things twice where they're putting their hands on people, because she also put her hands on Shanice,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't show that.
That was this season.
At Freaknik. Yeah, at Freaknik, she put her hands on Shanice too, outside. Yes. And so I said, listen, if I can't get my pushback from her, whether it's a tap or whatnot, then I vote that, okay, I don't want her in the house. Because it's just like, I don't feel like it's fair. I feel like we're setting standard that it's okay for certain people to push people, but yet when other people do it, we talk bad about them, we demonize them, even though there are other things happening with other castmates that, you know, the public is not privy to, which I respect. But I'm like, in Summer's case, I want to put, if I could push her, then I'm cool with her being in the house. Mm-hmm. The network said, girl, you cannot put your hands on her, because you put your hands on her, you gonna go too. And I said, okay, well then I feel the type of way. I feel the type of way, because it would be cool, because I ain't gonna lie, if Summer would have just acknowledged what she did and left it at that, and didn't try to double down on her stance the following days, saying that it was more so of Noelle, that I didn't push her, that they provoked me, they cornered me, I would have been cool with her staying in the house. Because it's like, girl, shit happens. We was drunk, so let's just try to blame the liquor. But if you apologize to me the following day, then the next day you take back your apology, and then you talk around the house saying that I was the aggressor and that you did me a favor, I'm gonna only feel some type of way. Because listen, Kim, we in the same house. So, and I know people play telephone, but people were talking shit.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why when Jasmine texts you that, you know, Summer's leaving, you know, do you want to say goodbye? Well, it makes more sense now when you explain it.
Because it's just like, what are we going to say? Like, I've already said that I don't mind being cordial with you post filming. I don't mind showing up as a castmate. But when they asked, would you go out to dinner with her one-on-one? I said no. And I said, I'm not trying to write her off altogether, because I'm a believer of grace, because baby, I ain't perfect. However, I would rather get to know her again outside of this environment, because it's just a lot. And when I try to let my guard down and say she was just drinking, she was just going through a lot, it's like I turn around to get bit in the ass. And honestly, I felt like I was crazy. Like, Kemp, I felt like there was times where they didn't show, but I broke down crying, because I'm like, am I fucking crazy? Like, do I look like a dumbass that, you know, I'm forgiving somebody who honestly doesn't fuck with me? Because there was multiple people that said, amongst, whether it was just castmates, producers, they were like, you're a really nice person, because some people are not extending you the same grace. So keep doing you, but be careful with basically how forgiving you are. And then when you find out, you get what I'm saying, what people are saying, you're just like, I thought we moved past this, and now I look crazy. Because I'm just like, I'm sympathizing for you. I'm crying with you. Like, girl, we all going through shit. You get what I'm saying? So help one, teach one. But now I'm looking like an ass.
Yeah. So fast forward to the reunion day. Where was your mindset at? Was it really focused on your issues with Summer, or was it a bunch of issues?
Yeah,
Like, were you nervous?
I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. And my mindset with going to the interview is that be yourself, be vulnerable, be articulate. You get what I'm saying? Make sure you speak, you know, your case, but also too, don't let shit slide. Cause I'm not gonna lie. There was things that happened prior, like I said, off season, where some, like for example, the basketball game. She was telling everybody at the basketball game that she fucking hate me. She told everybody at the basketball game that she hated me and Bria, and that if we pull up and we on some bad energy, she gonna want a motherfucking fight. Bitch, we sit in Barclays, courtside. Bitch, you ain't find nobody. And what the fuck are you talking about that you are mad that me and you are being invited to the same events? We're castmates. Why are you also going around spreading lies and rumors amongst the cast about me that's not true? And
What
then
she
when,
said? What she said? What was one of the rumors?
like, very much like making it seem like she told me when we were going into the vacation that about the Alex thing. And I'm like, no, you didn't. But why are we still talking about that? I thought we were over that. Like, what the are you talking about? And then also too, spreading lies, making it seem like I'm the aggressor, making it seem like she can't be in the same room with me.
Oh, she's scared you.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no.
And I'm like, bitch, what are you talking about? I didn't mind being cordial with you, but you can't make it seem like I'm the aggressor. But then when we're at company parties, I speak to you, you don't want to speak. I'm going out my way to compliment you, because I'm not gonna lie, I will never hate on a bad bitch. If you look good, whether your attitude stank and you tell lies, if your outfit cute, I'm gonna say your outfit cute, despite the history. So it's like she would make it try to insinuate that I was trying to throw shade. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, I genuinely liked your outfit. And even after the whole thing happened with the Barclays, because they didn't mention that, which I thought was interesting, and I don't want to speak onto it, but it was multiple parties with our cast member that was involved that she acted out towards. And I wasn't the worst one.
Oh, really?
I wasn't. And it got to the point where even we got to where when her and some of my other castmates fell out, me, Bria, and Jasmine, I brought her inside my house. I'm sorry, if I don't fuck with you, if I don't give a fuck about you, despite how you done turned up on me, you think I'm gonna invite you to my house to make sure that you good because your phone done died because you drunk at the Barclays game? I'm still gonna care about you. So when she was in my house, she was telling me things that she said. She was telling me about how other castmates were talking and spilling all this tea, which further confirms in my head that all the shit that I was hearing you were saying about me, it obviously must be true, because how is it that when you have a disagreement with Shanice and Jordan at the Barclays game, now you want to try to run to me and Bria and Jasmine and tell us everything that y'all might have been discussing behind our backs?
So rewind.
Yes. Yes.
Jordan and Shanice.
Yes.
Is it Shanice?
Yes.
They were talking crap about you too?
No, I wouldn't say they were talking craps about me. It was might have been like certain topics about other people where, because this person is friends with another person, it's like, why are you even around for that conversation? If you didn't say anything, why are you around for that conversation? And so my issues with Summer was the fact of it had nothing. What you saw at the reunion had nothing to do with Alex. Like, we honestly left that shit back in the vinger. My feelings with her was of how she carried herself outside of post filming, and how to my face it was like, you know, you don't want to talk to me, you don't want anything to do with me, which is like, okay, I get it where we left off, but I'm not going to chase you either. I'm going to still be cordial, but I'm not going to kiss your ass. So if you're talking shit about me, I'm going to leave you where you last had me fucked up at. And so prior going to the reunion, you're still talking about how you're going to go off on me. You going to tell it like it is.
Who's she telling this to?
Other castmates, other people. Like, one thing about us castmates, we talk. Like, despite how close certain people are, one thing, we do have a good kiki. And that's why I try to always hop on the game of telephone before it reached the person, because I'm like, it's so easy for things to get misconstrued. You might as well tell the horse's mouth. So prior to it, I'm like, damn, like I wasn't even in the wrong with the shit that happened at the Barclays. You was going around telling people lies, rumors about me, and now you're going into the reunion making it seem like you especially have it out for me. No. Also too, besides something that happens with editing, going into it, I was very much calm. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous, but I was willing to just make sure my points was heard, but not come across like I was shouting. They didn't show, but Summer was cutting a lot of people off. And when I would say stuff, she would cut me off. So I was like, is this how we're setting the tone where if somebody cuts somebody off, it's okay for that person to do it? Because if that person does it, then I'm gonna think it's okay for me too. Call that petty, but yeah. So that's where a lot of that emotion came from, and I hate that, of course, the audience doesn't know that, but that's why it was on the level that it was on, because of everything that happened prior, to the reunion.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe the whole, because I remember seeing the pictures of the entire cast going to the Brooklyn Nets game and things like that. So I didn't know all that drama was happening. Woo!
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
We still look pretty in the pictures. I would give it good. We still know how to bring it together for pictures, but it happened. A lot of that shit happened after the pictures were taken. That's when things
So
went
do you think,
down.
because it sounds as if, and I'm sure you probably saw Alex's interview on Watch What Happens Live where he revealed where he decided that things aren't going well with Summer, aka Autumn. We found out her alter ego Autumn. Do you think that Summer is a pathological liar?
I would say this. I feel like Summer has a great cadence, and she says things that I feel like she says it to where it will benefit her at the time, because everything she says is not a lie. Because honestly, with even like the whole Alex situation, I said I can understand how bad that looks. Like, if you stop texting me and we were involved, I can of course come across as scorn. But also too, if you're taking pictures and all that and I'm not aware, it can also be like an invasion of privacy. So it's like, I can understand where both of y'all went wrong at, but it was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to hold you much longer, but I want to talk about the mess that is the rest of your cast. But I wanted to dig into a little bit about your issues with Summer, because that was very confusing. I think for the entire audience, not just myself. But Jasmine was on live earlier, and for those that watched the Summer House Martha's Vineyard reunion, a lot of people were Team Jasmine. I'm not about the teams, but it was very clear like they were trying to alienate Jasmine. Was that clear to you behind the scenes and filming, that everyone was sort of like Team Jordan and like it was very divided? Did you feel that?
I didn't feel that all the way. I knew that prior that Jordan and Jasmine had their own beef, or don't say beef, let's just say misunderstanding that really spewed from first season going into second season. But everybody else, I kind of thought from the outside looking in, it was like a guilty by association, where if two people in the group say they don't want this person on a trip, then that person isn't going to come on a trip. And that's that. I didn't know how personal, let me say, other people felt with the whole Jasmine thing. I was not aware of that, because I was only aware, like I said, of the Jordan and Jasmine, and that
So there
Bria
were
and
other
Jasmine,
people.
yeah, and I was only aware that Jordan and Jasmine had beef, and that even though Bria and Jasmine were not on the best of terms last year, coming into this season, they were actually mighty close.
Yeah.
So that's all that I knew.
Okay. But now, have you spoken to Preston, because he's getting it a lot on social media?
Actually, I haven't. To be honest, I decompressed. Like, I just exit out of this whole weekend and chose to celebrate the weekend of Memorial Day, and get into catching up on the show all today. So I haven't. I'm already late as hell with posting my pictures. I'm like, forgive me, Lord, forgive me. I was partying last night.
Well, But I do want to know your opinion, though, based off of what, because you provided so much context, because a lot of people had opinions about you and the whole summer situation. Some people felt like you were being performative and showing out and wanting, as Nick said in one of the last episodes, wanting to be
Included.
included. So people, but when you get the context of what's been going on behind the scenes, is there context that we're missing in regards to why Preston feels the way that he does towards Jasmine and why he went on this media tour in the last week or so before the reunion aired?
No, but I can assume, honestly speaking, that it has more to do with the Preston and Silas. If I want to assume from my understanding of how I'm seeing it from the outside, I'm thinking that it could be something where it's Preston and Silas, but also Jasmine is a friend, and it's like, but that's also Silas's wife, and it's like, hey, if I have a disagreement with your husband, your wife is going to take the husband offense. She might not see where I'm coming from, but if I have a disagreement with your wife, you get what I'm saying? If I'm already at odds with your husband, things are, in my opinion, it's just not clear, because I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know the true gist of everything, but I do feel like some things can be read as guilty by association, where if this one person is not feeling her, then if that other person kind of slightly feels similar way, then that's going to only lose my words, that's going to only make the situation worse or more tense between two people versus one. And that's how I kind of feel like with the whole Jordan and Jasmine thing. Like, I do feel like they can probably get to a place where they can really be cool, but it's also one of those things where I kind of feel like they've outgrown each other, and now Preston is outgrowing that friendship too, if I had to say. And I feel like
Friendship with Jasmine.
Jasmine, yes. And I don't feel like it's fair to Jasmine, and I hope I'm not over speaking, or because I don't know what all is happening behind the scenes, but as somebody who's just married, had a baby, and of course, you might have felt like you weren't shown as honest first season, but second season, you're like, hey, I'm just being me, I'm being vulnerable. Of course, it's going to be like, damn, like, y'all still holding my feet to the fire for something that I apologized on, and I want to move on, but you don't want to move on. And it's obvious that no matter what I say, that you still feel firm on how you feel, and that I guess I'm just going to have to accept that we can be cordial, but we're not going to be friends anymore to that degree. And I think that's what it's honestly giving, because even from their situation, it's like, at this point, when one person reached out, the other person wasn't responsive. So then when the other person turned around and reached out and the other person wasn't responsive, at this point, you're playing ping pong with the person, and somebody's going to get tired of it, and somebody's going to be like, well, I'm tired, and I'm through with this friendship. I'm through with trying. It is what it is. And then you're on vacation. So it is going to be weird that you and this person are just not talking to each other. There's weird tension. So eventually, let's try to talk this out, but you can't force what eventually can't flow. If I can really, if I can really say, I do hope that they can come to a better understanding, but I don't want to speak too much on their shit, because people might, I don't want somebody speaking on my stuff with, people I got going on. So yeah.
Who are you like closest with on the cast?
I would say Bria, Jazz, and then I would say Shanice and Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not the fellas at all.
Oh, the fellas, I would say that I'm close to Preston, and I'm friends with both, Nick and Alex. I'm cool with Amir. But I say even my New York crew, me, Alex, and Nick have all hung out before. And then Jordan, Bria, when she's in town, and Jasmine too, when she can.
Who did, coming into this season, was there anyone that you were hesitant about?
No. I know that, like, going into it, it was certain things where, like, oh my gosh, I saw how this person was, on first season, but knowing how you don't really have so much of control of how you portrayed, I was like, let me just go in here and not assume, not go based off of everything I saw with first season. Because I was like, if I go based off of everything I saw with first season, I'm gonna look one-sided. It's gonna look like I got beef with Jasmine when it's like, girl, you don't even know her. You might not agree with how she acted, but you don't know her. And also too, those actions that she did first semester are not her own, and the same with other people. So I made sure that I was like, get to know everybody on their own. And that's something too that was good advice that was shared to me amongst everybody. They were like, if I could tell you anything, despite what happens, get to know everybody one-on-one. Yeah, you're going to be talking to people in groups, but get to know them one-on-one, because that's when you can really create your own relationship, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. And I really do. I'm glad that I took that advice.
Definitely. I noticed when I talked about the people that you're closest with, not closest with, and who, who possibly you might be hesitant in meeting, you didn't mention Milo. What was it like sharing?
I'm Milo acting. I didn't know we was including Mr. Third Person. Milo, that's my baby. That's my baby.
I mean, one of the things that a lot of people were saying during the season, it felt like Milo was acting out, maybe because Bria wasn't there enough for him. What was your most memorable experience with Milo?
Two things. As sad as it was when Milo ran off, I promise you, Kim, that was one of the funniest days, because that was after very much the weight of the house was really heavy. So we needed something to bring us all together. But also too, it was a scene where not a scene, but we had ended up dressing Milo up in one of Shanice's wigs and having him run over. Look, now Milo can wear a wig. Milo can wear wigs out.
Well, speaking of Bria, so Bria's situation with Simon, I was really shocked because I was defending Simon those last couple of episodes. I was like, he just wanted to have a good time, whatever, whatever. But Andy asked the question that he posed the idea that there are some people within the group that feel as if Simon is clout chasing. I wish he would have asked who in this group feels as if Simon is clout chasing. So I'm going to ask you this question because I'm sure you know. Who in this group feels as if Simon is clout chasing? And is he actually a millionaire?
I don't know if he's actually a millionaire, but I'm gonna assume he is. I hope so. But there was talks in the car, especially some with the guys, where they were just trying to check out. They were just trying to make sure that Bria was with somebody who they felt like really wanted to be with her, because they were basically, the guys were saying at one point, like, every time he comes in, there's always something that goes on, and it's kind of feeling like he's coming in and it's like, you're supposed to be a boyfriend, you're supposed to be here to have fun, and that's it. And you're just creating, a name for yourself. So they asked, like, okay, Bria, do you think your guy is really here, to support you, or do you think he's here trying to be a clout chaser? And I think it's so funny how they were, it was being brought up as if Simon was trying to be on the show, when it was actually
Natalie?
Yes, it was Natalie, in my opinion, that I felt like I would consider trying to be on the show.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Simon, he was trying to get us to drink, cheer him on in his flamingo outfit, but he wasn't carrying around no tea. He wasn't. And even when we would be talking, gossiping, he'd be like, okay, can y'all, like, come on, y'all need to do something else. So if he was, trying to be a bone collector, then yes, I would say, like, Bria, hey, double check to see if he's genuine. But from what I've seen of Simon when I've been around Bria, he's been nothing but genuine. He is crazy, he is turned, but he's never gave in my opinion, from what I saw, that he was trying to be on the show. It just reminds me of, like, those frat white boys where if they got a crowd, they gonna have fun and turn up regardless. Okay. And that's what he gave.
Okay. All right. So it's really the guys that were concerned.
Yeah, and I think, of course, anything could be seen as being messy. When somebody's asking about things that you're like, do you really care about my relationship? But when it was talked to us outside of Bria, it was like, no, we're just asking because we care. Like, we just want to know, like, hey, is he really here for her, or could this be something more of, you know, an adventure for him?
Mm. Okay. All right. So if you do come into a season 3,
Hmm.
is what exactly would what would be the way that you would come in versus the way that you came in season 2,
Yeah.
based on what you've learned?
Actually, I do think about that a lot. To be honest, I still want to be my vulnerable self,
Mm.
because despite, you know, the flag that might have came from it, I didn't realize how rewarding it would be for me, and even how other people related to that. So I would still want to be my genuine self. I would want to lessen the serious conversations more,
Mm.
because we did have fun, y'all. Like, despite us, you know, being dramatic, tears, cursing each other out, being drunk, we did have fun, and we, you know, wish that that was shown more as well. But for me, I say going into next year, still being vulnerable. Honestly, lessening the serious conversations, because I was just like, I don't know, I was just wondering, did I overstep with things?
Mm.
I definitely still, you know, be single, ready to mingle, because I ain't gonna lie, I do love to flirt. I think I'm good at it. I think I'm good at flirting. I accept it. I think I'm good at flirting.
So you're still single right
Yes,
now?
I'm still single, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not even mad at it. But yeah, I would just want to have more fun. Honestly, trying to think of some better party topics to do, and
Mm.
like very much step up, like with the costume wear, because I'm like, okay, if we coming in this season, baby, I'm about to bring it. But also too, I want to see how it is, you know, if new people do come
Mm.
in, and
Mm.
how that would be. But besides that, like, I don't think I would change me. I will say this. I would learn to nip things in the bud that really don't serve
Mm.
me. And that
Mm.
just because you are around for something doesn't mean you got to be involved.
Yeah.
And honestly, just because you are around don't mean you got to be around for it. And so I think I would take a step back from that. But besides that, I would still be me, still be turned, still be vulnerable, you know, might cry, but I'll still shake some ass
Was
and get
there
tired of the
anything
girls.
based off the, the final version, because there is on Peacock the extended uncensored version? As you know, there's hours of film, and then they have to condense it. Was there anything that happened during this reunion that that was funny or that was important that you think that needs to be said?
Um,
Any tea?
um, yeah, so I doubled down on my accountability with Summer, and that
Mm.
I was wrong. And um, at that time, she had butted in and said something which made me respond, where it was just like, I'm trying to be respectful, to where it's like, excuse me, if you keep talking over me, I'm going to have to fight back with my defense, because at this point it's like, you're not respecting me. But at the same time, I do want you to know that I am sorry for, you know, the role that I contributed, but also too, there were things that you did off camera postseason that you're aware of, that is the real reason why I feel the way that I do.
Mm.
But besides that, I feel like I spoke my piece with a lot of things, you know, with even like with the Amir, which he was actually receptive. He was more receptive to it than what I assumed that he would be. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
I
Okay.
thought that he would be more so. I wouldn't be. I wasn't. Let me say this. I wasn't gonna be surprised if he was gonna be more defensive than what he was. But he took it, and I was
Mm.
like, I respect it. I respect it. I like it to where, you know, I can tell you how I feel. You can tell me how you feel, but then we still respect each other. But it's like, if you cut me off and we on national television and this is my first reunion, my mama ain't raised no food. You ain't gonna tell me off. You ain't gonna embarrass me. Oh no. And you know, yeah. But besides that, I do feel like people came to a resolution, despite everything that we did see. You know,
Mm.
what's it called? Summer did ended up apologizing to me at
Oh,
the end of the reunion.
we didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I know, I know. So she ended up apologizing. I told her I accept her apology. I said that, you know, still gonna keep my distance, but I want you to know that how I'm responding to you is not because of Alex. It's because I feel like you're always disrespecting me. So I'm just dishing it back to you. I really want to move on from this. And she said that too. But I was like, but I'm hesitant because I said every time you apologize, we still go through the same thing. So I'm like, I would dead it right now. I'm cordial with you. We can be cool. I'm not gonna be going to dinner with you, but like I'm ready to be done with this. But I just want to know that you really feel that way with me. And, you know, a couple of weeks later, you're not gonna say, you know, a different story that, in my opinion, might benefit your side of events. And that's what I felt like when things will be retold. I wasn't afraid of admitting where I went wrong, but I felt like she would retell things that honestly benefited her. And I was like, nah, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Have you guys spoken since the reunion?
No, we haven't, but we've cleared the air. I was just like, you know, it is what it is. I apologize. I accept your apology. You accept mine. I'm not saying we're going to be the best of friends. I'm not going to say we're going to be texting each other, but like, you know, hey.
I'm gonna let you go, but I want some thoughts. I've been saying justice for Jason, bring Jason back. I know you probably have met Jason.
Yes,
He was at the premiere party as well.
Mr. Green Eye Bandit.
The Green Eye Bandit. Any chemistry? Any vibes?
Oh no, Jason's cool, but just
damn,
yeah,
I'm not friend zoned already.
Yeah,
Jason.
I know. I'm sorry
I tried,
to say, but yeah, just and honestly, with anybody on the show, I hate to say it, but it's just strictly friends. That's why I'm like, you know, I am interested
Nick
to
is
see,
single
like, you know,
now.
huh?
Nick is single now.
Okay. Yeah, but still just friends. Still just friends. Like Nick, I promise you, especially after everything that, you know, transpired with us, we're very much cool on just being friends, which that was all that was. No offense.
Well, hopefully we'll bring a lot of guests this season.
Yes.
Mariah, what was your experience, Mariah? Would you like Mariah to come back next season?
Mariah was good. I didn't have a bad experience with her at all. I know that I would say this, things are tricky with her and certain people. So, you know, I think that would be
name them.
I just know that I don't know if you saw, but on Twitter, her and Jasmine, like she said some things about Jasmine that I honestly, you know, not to butt my head in another person's friendship, I just don't think it was right and fair to Jasmine, because I felt like Jasmine did a great way of bringing her back to the vineyard, honestly allowing her to state her case, and like buying her ticket and all that. So knowing how she might see things edited wise, personally, I would say I think that she should have went to Jasmine before going to social media about her venting.
I agree with that.
And that's how I feel. So I don't know how that will look next year. Because I ain't gonna lie, if my friend said something about me on public Twitter, that you got my phone number, you my best friend, do I really want to put myself out there to allow that to possibly happen in the future? I wouldn't. I hate to say that, you know, especially how things already happen.
We heard that Phil came back. Apparently Phil was flirting with all the ladies when he came back. What's your thoughts on Phil possibly returning next season?
I feel like Phil can definitely bring some tartness. He definitely gonna bring some bottles. I'm telling you, he need to bring some vibes. But yeah, I think Phil will be cool. I just don't think he need to shit anybody's toilet, because that's nasty, and you know that can't. That's it. I just like gross. You could have came in the house on some type of different energy besides shitting in the toilet, especially if you were late. Like, you can't be mad if the beds are going, if it's first come, first serve.
Yeah. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Poor Phil.
But he added some spice. It would have been spicy. More spicy than what it is, but yeah.
We appreciate you taking time out at this late hour here in New York to talk about this.
I thank you for having me, because child, nah, look, I definitely appreciate this interview.
And we appreciate you doing it and dropping all the tea. And we look forward to you returning, because one of the things that at the premiere party, every single person from producers to other castmates was like, wait till you meet Noelle. Wait till you see Noelle. She's the star this season. And I was like, all right. I'll see for myself. Leave me alone. I want to see for myself. But no, you did. You meshed very well with the group, and I think you brought the fun energy that a lot of people wanted to see. And I look forward, and you were vulnerable. I know people came at you for being that vulnerable over a guy, over this new guy, but so many of you out there are vulnerable to your best friends. You know, you just did it on national television in front of millions.
Yeah, and it's there forever.
Forever. Forever.
Forever.
Noelle, thank you so much for this. Have a fantastic night and a Memorial Day. And I will see you on season 3.
And I will see you too. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too.